Hello, I'm Kirat Ravi, and for this SI video, I'm going to talk about the Army rank structure. I'm going to list all the ranks and showcase the different insignias. After that, I'm going to explain the important roles these ranks hold in the Army's corps and division operations. I'm going to first list out all the enlisted. Enlisted soldiers are the backbone of the Army. They have specific specialties within an Army unit, perform specific job functions, and have the knowledge that ensures the success of the unit's current mission. The first enlisted rank is the private, otherwise known as a fuzzy. The fuzzy does not have an insignia, so I do not have it up here. The second rank is also known as a private. A common misconception is that this rank is called a private second class, which is not true. Third rank is a private first class, followed by the specialist, followed by the corporal, who is a junior NCO, followed by a sergeant, then a staff sergeant, followed by a sergeant first class, followed by a master sergeant, who are all senior NCOs, followed by the first sergeant, sergeant major, a command sergeant major, and the sergeant major of the Army, who holds the highest enlisted rank in the United States Army. I'm next going to list out all the warrant officer ranks. The adaptive technical expert, combat leader, trainer, and administrator is a warrant officer. Through progressive levels of expertise in assignments, training, and education, the warrant officer administers, manages, maintains, operates, and integrates equipment and systems across the full spectrum of Army operations. The first rank is the Warrant Officer 1, followed by the Chief Warrant Officer 2, then the Chief Warrant Officer 3, followed by the Chief Warrant Officer 4, followed by the Chief Warrant Officer 5. Warrant officers usually hold specialized positions like pilots, bandmasters, and etc. Next, I'm going to talk about officer ranks. Commissioned officers are the managers, problem solvers, the influencers, and planners who lead enlisted soldiers. They plan missions, give orders, and assign soldiers tasks, and make sure they accomplish what they need to accomplish. So the first officer rank is the second lieutenant, which is denoted by a gold bar, followed by a first lieutenant, which is denoted by a silver bar, followed by a captain, major, lieutenant colonel, colonel, brigadier general, major general, lieutenant general, general, and the general of the Army. There is no current general of the Army right now. Next, I'm going to talk about the Army's corps and division operations and discuss the roles of different ranks held by the soldiers. A team is the smallest element in the Army organizational structure. It usually has 4 soldiers and is typically led by a sergeant, who is an NCO like I mentioned before. The other members of a team are usually privates and specialists, supervised by the sergeant. A squad is the second smallest element in the Army organizational structure. Its size depends on its function. A squad is typically led by a staff sergeant, who is an E6. And a squad usually has between 8 to 16 soldiers or 2 to 3 teams. Platoon is a basic combat unit capable of maneuvering in the conduct of combat operations. Platoon has 2 to 4 squads or 16 to 44 soldiers depending on its mission. It's usually led by a lieutenant, assisted by a platoon sergeant, that is sergeant first class. Lieutenant is responsible for planning missions, while the sergeant first class, or NCO, is responsible for executing them. Company, a cohesive tactical-sized unit that can perform a battlefield function on its own, is capable of receiving and controlling additional combat support, or combat service support elements to enhance its mission capability. A company is normally commanded by a captain, and the first sergeant is a commander's principal assistant, who is an NCO. A company usually has 3 to 5 platoons and consists of anywhere between 60 to 200 soldiers. Battalion, a unit that is both tactically and administratively self-sufficient. Cyclone Battalion is an example of a battalion that is self-sufficient. In warfighting, battalions are capable of independent operations of limited duration and scope. A battalion is commanded by a lieutenant colonel who is assisted by a command sergeant major as a primary NCO assistant. A battalion consists of 3 to 5 companies and has between 300 and 1,000 soldiers. Brigade, a significantly large unit that can be employed on independent or semi-independent operations. A brigade is normally commanded by a colonel, although in some cases a brigadier general may assume command. The command sergeant major is the principal non-commissioned officer assistant. Brigades are comprised of multiple battalions that generally include the brigade's primary combat arm, as well as sustainment and supporting functions. A brigade consists of 3 or more battalions and has between 1,500 to 3,200 soldiers. Division. A division performs major tactical operations and conducts sustained battles and engagements. It's categorized by one of the 5 types: cavalry, armored, infantry, airborne, and artillery. It is usually commanded by a major general, assisted by 2 principal brigadier generals who perform duties as assistant division commanders, one for maneuver and one for support. The command sergeant major is the principal NCO assistant. A division usually has 3 brigades and consists of anywhere between 10,000 to 16,000 soldiers. Corps. The deployable level of command required to synchronize and sustain combat operations and provides a framework for multinational operations. It is usually commanded by a lieutenant general, assisted by a command sergeant major and an extensive corps staff. There are 3 corps in the active army. Thank you. This concludes the SI video.